What's going on, boys? RedFlamingo here. Today's video, we're gonna just go back and watch a couple replays here in Clash Royale. Now I am getting kind of high in trophies. I've kind of reached my highest trophy peak kind of thing, and at level 4 I am quite high for my level. The majority of people that I play here are going to be level 5 or 6, which is really difficult to manage when you're a couple levels lower than everyone else. But some victories, some defeats, but I will show you probably about the last five battles here. Some really good battles, and some just something like a lot of people can learn from, I think, and just even enjoy. There's some level 6 here that I end up beating that maybe you can't learn too much from, but I'm happy about it and I want to show it. So quite proud about this victory. But he does go with a Hog Rider. We counter with a Witch and a Musketeer here. Kind of probably wanted to put that Witch a little bit closer, but we're getting good splash damage here with our Witch. Seem to be able to hit the Witch and the Goblins at the same time. Good to see. So we can generate our own little attack here. And throwing a skeleton army on a Witch really isn't a really good idea, because the Witch does splash damage and really won't have an issue with taking out multiple little units. And we were able to take out his tower, surprisingly. I don't know why he wasn't attacking or deploying very many things, but he had, done a few misplays, which resulted in him being on really low elixir. There we saw a lot of my skeleton army kind of get distracted. I wasn't expecting to put a Hog Rider down, but we're kind of even here in terms of elixir. He does throw down a Witch, which I'm going to take my time in deploying mine so that I get to fight him close to my tower. I do luckily have my Knight at the ready, so I deploy him as well on that Witch. Now, he does have some elixir, and he is going to go with the skeleton army here, which, as we saw like before, he tried this before on my Witch, and my Witch did the same thing, just splash damage him down. And I'm able to get a lot of pressure on him here. These spear goblins only cost 2 elixir, so that's really cheap to and his Hog Rider probably would have got my tower there, but luckily I got him down before before he got me. And this was a level 6, so obviously 2 levels higher than we are. I was pretty proud of that. A lot of this, actually all of this was done on stream. I am streaming on Twitch every day. So if you're curious, you can definitely come check that out. But just another level 6 here. I was actually surprised to see so many level 6s in a row. I think these are one of the only level 6s that we've ever got queued up against. And here I'm kind of full on elixir, so I really want to get some troops deployed. Being full on elixir is probably one of the worst strategies you can do. Like, waiting for another troop, waiting for them to deploy their troop is definitely not a sound strategy. If anything, you want to deploy a troop, in the back of your base. If anything, you definitely want to spend that elixir, because having it overflow, you're just setting yourself back. I'm not too worried here about the bomber. I try to deploy a giant to kind of distract it, which works out pretty decently, I think. Here I think I'm going to go with the Witch, to just take out these little clusters of units here attacking my giant. The Witch is really overpowered at this point in time, I believe. I think it could use a bit of a nerf, just because she does summon endless skeletons, which helps a lot with defense, and she does have quite a bit of HP as well as a splash damage attack. It's just a lot to deal with for one troop. I mean, she does cost 5 elixir, but even still, like, you get really good value usually out of any way you play a Witch, whether you play her on defense or on offense. And here I'm kind of thinking about what I can do for this giant. I didn't really have my skeleton army up, which is going to hurt me, I think, here on the left side. combined with those goblins, it's a really good, you know, quick little attack, cheap attack. And the witch to just defend a bit, distract the knight with some skeletons, and then the giant slash witch combination is probably one of my favorite combinations, just because the opposing player is going to want to deploy clusters of troops to try and take out my giant as fast as possible, but my witch is great against clusters of troops, so she'll just probably splash damage most troops down, most clusters down. And here I was really lucky. My witch did survive. I did get a knight in time to get in front of both my witch and my musketeer. And just trying to distract him here on the left side with a little bit of a push as well. This was really good pressure that I was lucky to get on him. And I'm pretty sure I squeeze out this tower here on the left, ending the battle. Yeah, I'm deploying way too many troops, and any troops that he does deploy, kind of get like double teamed or triple teamed or whatever, and it's just definitely hard to take out my troops when it's like 3 versus 1 kind of thing. He was really surprised to lose to me, but that's another level 6 down. But really close battles, kind of. Actually, the first one wasn't really close. This one was more close than the first one was. This one was, I was quite proud to get this guy down. He didn't play that bad. He didn't actually make that many mistakes. The biggest problem, though, I would think would be with something with his deck. I think he has like, I don't know. He's using one epic, in the balloon. I don't even think he used the balloon against me. Just too many little troops, I think. Archers, fragile troops, he doesn't have many like tanky troops. He has the knight and the giant, but you kind of want like, I don't know, a witch is kind of tanky, but not so tanky. You know what I mean? Like with my knight and my giant, I get great tankiness, but combined with the witch, that's just like a lot more tankiness. It's just hard to explain, kind of thing. We'll move on to the next attack here, next battle. I was actually really surprised to see a lot of this guy's cards. I wasn't expecting so many like new cards, cards that I'm not used to. I slow roll a witch here just to see what he's gonna play. I think I do go with a musketeer here just to. I think I'm gonna slow roll the musketeer. Yeah, I don't want to really fight him on his turf because he's gonna get a lot of help from that tower there. This was pretty much just a panic move. That was a great arrow by him. And he does probably take out my tower here. Really good little push here at the start of the match by him. A lot of that was I didn't have, the right troops. I kind of started with a witch when a witch there would have really helped me. But we'll see how it goes down the line. Alright, so my musketeer luckily survives there and moves on to the right side. I think I deploy a giant, yeah. And luckily I get the giant down in time so that the giant's in front of the musketeer, tanking for her. And I don't waste an arrow because by the time the arrow takes down the skeletons, the giants will be dead. The giant will be dead anyway. And I didn't arrow his skeletons as they came up on the right there because if I put my witch down, I could have taken them out anyway and generated a bit of an attack. That's another really good arrow by him. Just providing that longevity in the giant's health while it attacks our king tower. Now at this point, I'm kind of like really worried. I only have about half 3/4 health of his one tower down. and you know, there's only a minute left in the battle, so I really have to get lucky here to make my way, you know, and tie him up here. That arrow against the skeleton army was a really good decision by me. I got pretty lucky in terms of that. And I go and do my famous giant slash witch push here on the left. And luckily I get his tower down. He seemed to be holding on to his elixir there. I don't know why, but it looked like he was maxed out. That was a bad play by him. He should have addressed my push there on the left sooner. Just some arrows on the left to get rid of his skeleton army and make a bit of a push against his king tower. And luckily I had my my skeleton army for his giant, but again, he arrows it for like the third time this match. And I'm going to try and get a bit of a push here. He has been very slow in terms of like deciding what he wants to put down. Timing and speed is key when playing this game. Like, especially in the last minute when you have double elixir, if you can like get as many troops out as fast as possible, you know, faster than the other person, that means you have more troops on the board at one time than the other person. That arrow was really late to take out my skeleton army, and he should have addressed my push. So that was another you know, really good match played by me that I didn't give up on, and I was able to squeeze out the victory. I'm not quite sure what level that guy was. I'm actually curious here just to check. I think he was level 5. Yeah, he was level 5. So, you know, again, you know, having being a less level, you know, a level less than most of these guys, I have, you know, less hit points on my towers. My towers do less damage, and they obviously have better like higher level cards on average than I do. And here's a defeat. I just got kind of bad cards. Like, I usually like to start off with a tank here or a witch, and I just didn't have, you know, really good starting troops. I in my opinion anyway. I put a knight. He does counter me very, very well in this match, which is the biggest reason why I lose, such as a freeze right there. A freeze spell is really new to me, and I guess from now on I'm not going to deploy troops close together like that. But we do a bit of damage to his left tower there in return, and luckily we get his prince down with our skeleton army. People say that the prince is really overpowered, but it's just all about having counters for certain cards that come up. You know, the more balanced your deck is, the more counters you should have for, you know, different cards that people choose to use against you. I have a couple counters for a prince. You know, I've got my witch, I've got my skeleton army. I can even throw down some spear goblins if I'm desperate. I can even throw down some minions if I've got time to do damage to the prince as she works her way, you know, across the board. And here I'm going to get a little push with the knight. You know, my knight is one of my highest level troops, so it is, you know, got quite a bit of HP. But that was a really good play by his prince there. The prince is really good against troops with high hit points, and my musketeer and my knight are definitely those kinds of troops. Here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my goblins in back of my giant, and he does throw down a barrel of goblins there out of you know, being when he was desperate. But just to note, he is a level 5 here. He does have like some pretty good epic cards, such as the witch, the free spell, or the balloon. I think we have 3 epic cards. So we have the skeleton army, the witch, and what's our last epic card? I believe we have I can't even remember, honestly, but we have 3. I know that for sure, and just a really good push here with all his, you know, he does get pressure on us, so we're kind of like trying to react, but we can't react fast enough. And that balloon, if you don't have a counter for a balloon, like forget it. You're toast pretty much. Here we're desperate. We can't really like push hard enough, so I just try and counter and prevent the 3-star or the 3 crown. If I didn't counter that prince and that balloon, he probably would have had my king tower there. Good play. Good, really good plays by Adrian there. You know, he's got a pretty good deck. He's got a well balanced deck. He's got the barbs. He's got the couple spells. He's got he's got arrows to deal with clumps of troops. He's got a couple tanks in the prince and the balloon, as well as the witch is quite tanky with her summons. Well played. And then this last replay here is also quite another close game, but a really exciting game as well. And I like to start with a witch. Slow roll the witch from the back here. And I think I'm just going to let them play out and attack each other. And react. So this is good. He's got a tank in front of his witch. That's something that I always like to do with my witch and my giant. And I should have been reacting a little sooner to him here on the left, but it seemed to be a pretty good defense. We did get a couple hits on his tower there on the right, so that was good. Though he does play a prince here, which we don't have anything, or we don't have enough elixir to play anything that can really take it out. So kind of a bad play by us to try and push him there when we could have been a little bit more patient and maybe reacted a little bit better. But luckily we play some skeletons here, and he doesn't really have a counter to it. Remember, those skeletons took down the prince, so we really didn't waste any experience or any elixir, sorry, on putting that skeleton army down. Giant's a really good counter for an expo like this. If he doesn't have anything supporting the expo, and you can really get some hits on the expo with your giant, then that's great. Though he did take down our towers, so we're kind of worried right now about trying to take down one of his towers to have the game continue on. And I really like having my knight here. I can play it down and kind of take down his witch, and just put down a musketeer for some support for the towers, and it works out pretty good here. I've got 2 towers and a musketeer shooting troops that come close. The knight was played pretty well in distracting the witch and such, and I was able to get the giant down on the left there in front of the 4 ranged troops, which is really important. And luckily I had enough, we are in the last minute here, so I had enough elixir to react to his giant skeleton and put down a skeleton army. And I just keep putting push pressure on him here on the left side. Couple musketeers, couple witches. I think I'm going to play a witch here too as well. No, I do play a skeleton army, so take down the prince that way. A giant just to tank the giant skeleton a bit, and he isn't playing elixir, he isn't playing his elixir fast enough. He's kind of like waiting to react to me, which in the last minute you really just want to spam as much as you can. And as you'll notice, I'm obviously doing a lot better job of it than he is, and luckily I am able to take out his tower here for another 3 crowner. Believe he was a level 5. I'm actually curious to see that as well. I didn't pay enough attention to the level, but yeah, he was a level 5. But just some really close matches. Hope you guys could enjoy that. If you did, come by the stream. We're streaming every day on Twitch at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do start off with Boom Beach, followed by some Clash Royale. But until next video, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.